So let's time travel to 2012. We didn't quite have a clear vision yet at that time of what problem we would solve or how we would solve it. We were developing the technologies that became the XRP ledger. We had a functional ledger, and we were going to people in Silicon Valley and trying to say to them, we have a company that does what? What's the story?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, the fundamental, before there was a company, the idea was, can you build a better Bitcoin? I think we're all fascinated by Bitcoin. Again, that was turning point. Again, as we talked about, a long line of, trying to stand up a global currency that wasn't controlled by governments. But Bitcoin was the breakthrough. But it had problems, right? And I think the biggest problem, I think the people that were attracted to the XRP project was Bitcoin just uses enormous amounts of electricity that can't be a sustainable long-term model.
Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. This is what I would call a medium short. It's a single focused video on a big tweet, a thread of 11 tweets actually, that was put out today by Ripple's chairman Chris Larson. It's a follow-up action to his op-ed that he wrote last year on Bitcoin, moving away from proof of work to a low energy validation method. In addition to the tweet, there is an article about his action that was written by Bloomberg. He recognizes that this is no easy feat, and with the US now hosting 40% of the hash rate using renewable energy, he still feels that there are plenty of miners who are not being responsible stewards. So he stresses that he is not trying to work against Bitcoiners. And no, this is not in any sort of coordinated effort with the company. In fact, he went outside the communications of the Ripple staff, and he apologized for that in his tweet. But he has invested $90 million into carbon capture, electric vehicles. He has done it in a lot of different ways through entities that are listed on his website here at llccf.org. The website that is dedicated to this manifesto is Change the Code, Not the Climate. And this is in, I think it's in coordination with Greenpeace. And it's a petition to tell big tech and financial corporations to stop Bitcoin from polluting the planet. There is a movie here, or a video, if you will, just about a minute and 36 seconds long. I want to play it for you. It's interesting because he calls out Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey along with Wall Street. All right, have a watch here.
This is Sweden, one of the leading industrial nations in Western Europe, home to 10.5 million people and some of the world's great companies. Yet, there is now a cryptocurrency that uses even more energy every year than the entire nation of Sweden. Bitcoin. Bitcoin's wasteful use of energy rivals most mid-sized nations. These gigantic crypto mining operations are sucking up obscene amounts of energy and becoming a major source of climate change and global pollution. Scientists estimate that if Bitcoin becomes widely adopted, the emissions alone could push the planet past a catastrophic 2-degree centigrade threshold that would cause runaway climate change. It all comes from something called proof of work, a complex and outdated verification system that requires a massive number of computers using enormous amounts of energy from coal, fossil fuel gas, and other polluting sources. Bitcoin's constantly growing mining operations are plunging us towards a global environmental crisis. And the worst part about it all is it can be avoided. By a change to the software code, Bitcoin could virtually eliminate the energy-wasting mining. There are just a few dozen decision makers running and backing Bitcoin's polluting operations who must be persuaded to move Bitcoin to a new software code. Plus innovators like Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk, and a bunch of Wall Street banks. The cost to Bitcoin is almost nothing, but the cost to our planet could be devastating. Let's change the code, not the climate. Go to cleanupbitcoin.com.
Reading the tweets that follow, I think, are very important to understand how contentious this issue is And if you are new to the space, I highly recommend that you take the time and care to go through to really understand both sides of this position. That is, I think, always super important to do in any situation that is problematic and complicated, to really understand where both positions are coming from. Here we have the author of the Bitcoin Standard, which is very often considered the must read in this space. And he says, actually, he retweeted a tweet that he sent out in December 2021 with Chris Larson's first op-ed. And he says, all right, let's be constructive and list your proposal's practical implementation options. Number one, cry harder. So not getting a lot of sympathy there. And then Richard Hart is weighing in, trying to promote his project, which is Pulse Chain. And he says that he has solved it with his project. Then we have Dan Held. Dan has 500,000 followers on Twitter. He is now with Kraken FX and formerly with Uber and also blockchain. He says, well, see, nobody cares. And you have someone who's obviously brand new in the space, just 127 followers. And it looks like it's a woman who says she still doesn't understand how you couldn't understand Bitcoin. Well, he does understand and understands quite well. And I think that is that is a tweet that is really just revealing that she doesn't know Chris Larson. And then, of course, we've got the very coveted favorite saying of the Bitcoiners, and that is, have fun staying poor. So I don't know, it's just very, very messy, complicated, complex. Takes a lot of I wanted to show you another tweet where somebody was it was a real one of the original cypherpunks. Maybe I can't find it, but I can tell you I liked his reply. He says, don't throw 5 million at it, you need to throw 1 billion at it. And maybe he's right. The solution needs a lot more thinking through on how to incentivize the miners so that they are willing to work towards a change. And I'm not sure that has been figured out yet. But anyway, I want to now read the actual Bloomberg article, because I know that Bloomberg often creates a paywall for people. I'm actually a member, but I'm just a short-term member. I don't know if I'm going to continue being a member because it is expensive. But I thought I would read it to you. It's about 10 paragraphs long. And trust me, if you don't feel like hanging around for it, that's fine. But I do know that for some people who can't read this because of their paywall, I thought it would be of value if I do read it. The article appearing in Bloomberg Green is Greenpeace Crypto Billionaire Lobby to Change Bitcoin's Code. Change the Code campaign will run ads in the next month. Bitcoin is about to face a fresh onslaught over its damaging environmental footprint. Several climate activist groups, including Greenpeace and crypto billionaire Chris Larson, are launching a Change the Code, Not the Climate campaign, designed to pressure the Bitcoin community to alter the way it orders transactions that already consumes as much power as Sweden. In 5 years, Bitcoin may consume as much power as Japan, Larson said in an interview. The campaign will buy ads in leading publications over the next month. Greenpeace, Environmental Working Group, and some local activist groups battling Bitcoin miners are also mobilizing their millions of members for grassroots efforts. The campaign has already reached out to a dozen key people and corporations, some of them involved in Bitcoin and yet pledging environmental, social, and governance, or ESG compliance, according to Michael Brune, who is in charge of the campaign. We are in this campaign for the long haul, but we are hoping, particularly since Bitcoin is now being financed by entities and individuals who care about climate change, that we can compel leadership to agree that this is a problem that needs to be addressed, said Brune, who was a longtime executive director of the Sierra Club before resigning last year. Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, PayPal, Venmo, Fidelity. There are lots of companies we anticipate will be helpful to this effort. The campaign is counting on several factors to help its cause. There's increasing frustration in some communities in the United States that have found themselves hosting Bitcoin miners and dealing with issues such as excessive noise. After China banned crypto mining last year, a flood of miners moved to the US. Bitcoin's main rival, Ethereum, is readying for a major software overhaul that will make it more environmentally friendly. Just like Bitcoin, it's currently using giant server farms to order transactions via a process called proof of work. But within months, Ethereum could switch to a different method called proof of stake, which is projected by some to cut its energy consumption by 99%. Now, with Ethereum changing, Bitcoin really is the outlier, Larson said. Some of the newer protocols, Solana, Cardano, are built on low energy. Larson said he's put in $5 million to fund the campaign, partly because he feels that Bitcoin won't continue to enjoy investor support unless it changes. I want to see Bitcoin and Ethereum succeed, said Larson, who owns some Bitcoin and Ether as well as XRP. Last year, Larson had a net worth of $3.4 billion, according to Forbes' billionaires list. He is executive chairman and co-founder of Ripple, which supports XRP. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued Ripple, Larson, and another executive in 2020, alleging they raised over $1.3 billion through unregistered ongoing digital asset securities offering. The case is expected to wrap up this year. Larson said he is not launching this campaign to bring down a rival cryptocurrency. If I was concerned about Bitcoin as a competitor, probably the best thing I could do is to let it continue on this path, Larson said. This is just an unsustainable path. In recent years, Larson said he has refocused on philanthropy and invested about $90 million into various causes, many of them related to climate change. Bitcoin's environmental concerns came to the fore last year when Elon Musk said Tesla Inc. would resume accepting Bitcoin as payment only after at least 50% of the mining relies on renewable energy. Larson said Bitcoin's power consumption issues could be fixed via a soft or a hard fork, both changing the network's code to make Bitcoin less power hungry. The soft fork would preserve Bitcoin as a single blockchain. The hard fork would split Bitcoin into two separate networks, one supporting miners and the other running different code, perhaps proof of stake. The campaign believes that about 50 key miners, crypto exchanges, and core developers have the power to change Bitcoin's code. Whether the campaign will work is a different story. Bitcoin miners earning more than $15 billion last year, according to data from the Block Research, would have to be given incentives to switch. Shifting to proof of stake is technologically complex, and it has taken Ethereum years to develop and to test the code necessary for the change. Perhaps more importantly, many Bitcoin diehards are adamant against changing the system created by Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous person or group credited for developing the software. I'd put the chance of Bitcoin ever moving to proof of stake at exactly 0%, said Chris Bendixson, a Bitcoin researcher at CoinShares and one of the world's leading experts on Bitcoin mining. There is no appetite among Bitcoiners to destroy the security of the protocol by making such a move. But while maximalist Bitcoiners may not want to deviate from Nakamoto's vision, Larson contends times are changing. Some of it borders on religion. Heresy, of course, is not a technological term, he said. Now, a lot of what's driving crypto is the enormous liquidity that's come from the traditional market players. And generally, those people are not religious about these technologies. So it's a matter of time. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.